adventurers and fashionistas. I bet you've been wondering just who is it that Glenn wears while he's out adventuring. Well, today's wardrobe is brought to you by Derelict, Blue Winter Collection, U.S. Army Surplus, Body by Good Old Home Cooking and JoJo's Cookies, accessorized with Springfield Armory XD Series and the Serpa Holster by Blackhawk. I hope you had some fun with that. I did. So I'm heading back out to the Russian olive tree where I found those anomalous branches dangling. A number of you brought up questions and asked me, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? What about this? And so I'm going out there again today. It's a week later, and my goal today is to take a little deeper look, more detailed look at the area, specifically at the branches, to try and determine heights and locations and stuff. A number of you mentioned it was bear or elk or other creatures. So my goal is to try and figure out what happened. Also when it happened. That's going to be the key, because if you remember in the last video, there were some branches that had buds on them that were broken. It's just now coming into spring. I want to confirm that they were budded when they were broken, because that means that there was not fruit on those trees, which means they were broken this spring. If they were broken this spring, it's got to be very recent, because everything's just now coming out of dormancy. If that's the case, why did something break those branches off? It wasn't to eat the fruit. So I'm going to go do some checking on that, and we'll find out. But come with me as I adventure, and I look forward to seeing you out there. Bye. There was somebody definitely walking on the other side of the river. I'm going to go see if I can't find him. There's around these willows. I'm going to try and film from a covert place so we can see what's going on. I'm using both my GoPro and my phone. A little exciting. I don't think it was anything, but I'm not holding my breath. Hopefully I'll see a person on the other side of the river going up the river. Okay, so some birds just flew away from over there. Something on the other side of the river, somebody on the other side of the river, on the other side of these willows. Dark figure walking. I don't know what I saw. I don't know who I saw, but I don't see him now. Okay, I don't see anybody. I don't mean that doesn't mean anything, but I don't see anybody. I'm gonna go down into the meadow and see what's going on, because that's where the trail goes. I'm going to stash my bicycle. Okay, so I just heard a holler, kind of sound. I don't know if you heard that from the direction of that thing. Okay, I'm totally getting chills. I'm gonna stash my bicycle. It's the second time I heard it. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna try and listen to that, because I just heard the whirring sound again. I'm gonna go stash the bicycle over here. dogs over here and listen. But looking up and down the stream, I don't know if you heard that. There's noise in the river right over there. Something splashing. Could be animals. I don't know. Oh, it's a person. It's a fisherman. Okay, I'm gonna go bother the fly fisherman. There he is. This is the view on the north side of the river where I'm heading to. That's the kind of stuff I'm heading into. I just wanted to show it to you. So this is the river where the hunters had stones thrown at them. The stones were thrown from the right bank over to the left bank. At the widest down there, it's probably about 40 yards wide or so. I didn't bring a laser rangefinder, so I don't know exactly, but it's pretty wide. And again, these were bowling ball sized rocks. I'm gonna go to the right there and see what there is to see. Currently, I'm in a bunch of thistles. This one here is about 6 feet high, and they go even higher from that. Over there, some of these thistles are all of 8, maybe even higher. So that's why I wanted to come at this time of year, because it's not thick and nasty and green. Here we go. So here I am entering into the thicket. You can see there's cottonwoods, willows, and Russian olives in here, as well as miscellaneous thistles and such. My goal today is to try and look closer at the tree branches, the suckers, and determine when they were pulled down, better description of the pulling down. And I want to climb up, if I can, to that bent one up top and see what that's like. So here we go into the thick of it. Okay, so here I am trying to push through the willowy stuff to my tree. You can see just how nasty this stuff is. Game trails going in and out of here. I don't remember exactly where the tree is. I'm going to work my way through. Obviously, a lot of branches broken off. Animals in and out through here, so thank God. But if it wasn't for them, this would truly be nasty. There are tunnels all over through here. If I'm following the one, if I seem to remember it right, how to get there. That's right. Deer have certainly been through here lately. Okay, so here's some obviously fresh breaks from animals, but here it is March 15th, and these are starting to bud. You can see that, and they're fresh. And to break it off, let's see if it breaks or strips. That's it. So it's green when it's fresh. It strips off like that, leaving a bit of a head. Fairly small one. Let me try and find a bigger one. Broken tree again, elk or something like that. I have no problem with that. Here's another one, fairly easy to get to. Let's bust it off. So it leaves a nib and strips off, and that's the break. That was me just pulling down on it. Again, lots of scrapes, lots of breaks. I don't know if this is the same one I found earlier. I think so, with all the branches broken down. I'm going to look and see if I can see where those branches came from. This is rough. Okay, so investigating a little deeper. Obviously, this branch is attached. This one's attached. I have, I'm going to count them. This one came out of there, no problem. This one, quite possibly there. So I'll discount that. This is tied up and broken, so that's that branch. That's a beaver fall branch. So that one's accounted for. This one here, where does that come from? Could it be that scar right there? Quite possibly. If that's the scar, if that is the scar that this one came from, then this one is newer and it came from up higher. Came from up higher. So there's, or it crossed over and broke. So this one could have come from that. This one, see, yeah, I think this one came from that hole. Certainly that one has been torn down. Okay. It's odd, but I'd never experienced this before, but yes, I would say probably bear climbing up this tree. Okay, obviously freshly broken. I'll just see. That was a green one. Taking that one with me. Again, well-worn game trails. Thank God for deer and elk, huh? Recently busted off. There it is. I want to find my tree again. Oh, there it is, right here. Ooh. Okay, again, I don't know if you can see, there's the thorn that we're fighting through on these Russian olives. Okay, so this branch was broken off, I don't know how long ago, it's hard to say, but I just want to show you, following it down, that is a bud. Are those nibbled off? Or are those buds? Is that chewed off? Or is that a bud? I'm going to take this home with me and we'll check it out with somebody who knows more about these trees, but there we go. Oh, look how soft that was. That's green. That's still green. Okay, so that's still green. Interesting. That did not break. These have not budded yet. We have these leaves. These are old. That's that particular branch. You know what? I'll take that whole branch. Heck with it, I can tell it's dead anyhow. My tree. I just wanted to show you guys how high these are. Some people have said potentially it was elk climbing up there and eating these things. Well, as far as I know, elk don't climb that high. That's gotta be, okay, if I'm 6 feet tall, let me look at this tree. I'm gonna back up. Let me calculate, give me a second. Okay, so here I am back at my tree. And for those of you who have suggested that perhaps it was elk that did this, I just want to show you. This particular tree has some branches broken off way up there. That is about at least 20 feet in the air. Maybe 25. It's very hard. Oh, you know what? I have a tape measure. I'm going to find out. Here. This is one of the branches that goes very high. There are certainly scuff marks on here. I presume bear. There's scuff marks on the tree, or something is dug in. It's claw dug in, pulled that down. Scuff marks all the way up this. I'm going to climb up there and see how high some of these branches are. So for those of you who care, some of you suggested this may have been an elk that reached up and knocked these down. So I have my tape measure on the ground. Comes up, past me, past me, past me, past me. At this point, 17 feet up. That's another 4 or 5 feet above me. Another 4 or 5 feet up. So, I seriously doubt this was an elk climbing up here and doing this. That branch up there, that's got to be another 10 feet above me. So it's 27 feet up. This is my view from up here right now. In fact, from up here, this is my view. And you can see other branches on other trees, even higher than I am. Like the same thing on that tree right there. So, not an elk. Now, is that twisted off and broken? I don't know. Or is that just broken? I would say, well, crap, I don't know. Do these have buds on them? I do not see buds, but there are still twigs left on these. So that's been, now that looks like it's a fairly fresh break. Maybe this was me the other day. Certainly good size ungulate right there. Okay, so here's a twig. It's fallen down, maybe, sure. But it came down from up there, got wrapped around a tree, I suppose. Here's another one. Here's some. Okay, Jerry, you'll have to tell me. Is that old poop of something? Because here's more of it. I think that's old poop of something. Because it's broken down. I'm seeing seeds in it. But it's all broken down. And that's a good pile, though. This is a well-traveled trail, river bottom, that certainly animals come in and out of all the time. Deer primarily, elk. And this is the path into the the thicket where I found the Russian olive. I'm gonna go measure a branch here just to show you something. Certainly there's an animal trail, no doubt about that. Here we go. Go in through here. You can see it's all tamped down and nice and clear relatively to get through here. Relatively easy, all things considered. Now that's funny. All things considered is relatively easy unless you're holding a phone and trying to video as you're walking. This is the entrance to my thicket. And my thicket has some interesting things. So some of you have said deer or elk have done this, or moose or something. I don't believe so. So more busted red suckers all over these trees in this immediate area. Evidently lots of bear. Out to the river. At least I'm saying bear. Don't know. I didn't see bears do this. Would I doubt that they do this? No. But did I see them do it? Nope. Again, animal tunnels in and out through all this stuff. Okay, so I'm pretty darn convinced this is bear, but then I see something kind of odd that catches my attention. All these branches obviously are up here. There's that red one right here has been folded in half. Maybe this is it. Okay, so if you can see this, it's tough because I can't climb it any deeper. It's kind of interesting. Here's this branch busted off right about here, or broken. Comes out, out to here. And then all the other branches are bent back, going this direction. As I look at those, I suppose they could have been bent. I can see this if I can point. I suppose, again, here's the big branch, hits this cluster, and they get bent down. It's still attached right here. I suppose that could have been a bear breaking down the branches, getting it close to him, and then it busts underneath him. I suppose that could have happened. So that could be the explanation for the folded back branch. I couldn't find that tree, but this is one very similar to it with a lot of the same features. So that's my conclusion, that something, I don't know, was a bear. I presume it was a bear, but something climbed up the tree, pulled the branches towards them, sitting in the tree to get to it. Here's another branch. You can see it coming out. It's folded in half and pulled back into the tree. Critter sitting right down in there, lazy, pulling the branches to himself? Sure. I don't know, but certainly something. So I wasn't here. Everybody tells me bear. I am trusting them. I'm going to look and see if I can see scratch marks on the trunk. Okay, looking up from inside, There are definitely scuff marks on the tree trunk here. One, two, three. Something certainly would have climbed out there. Look at this tree. Scuff marks. Dare I say claw marks from a bear climbing the tree. He climbs up, gets to a perch, pulls branches towards him, which folds the branches back into him as he sits in knot. Hello, fellow adventurers and fashionistas. I bet you've been wondering just who is it that Glenn wears while he's out adventuring. Well, today's wardrobe is brought to you by Derelict, Blue Winter Collection, U.S. Army Surplus, Body by Good Old Home Cooking and JoJo's Cookies, accessorized with Springfield Armory XD Series, and the Serpa Holster by Blackhawk. I'm going to attempt to pick up a rock, a reasonable sized rock, and throw it as far as I can into that river. We'll see what happens. So I'm looking at hopefully you can see me. Hey there. So here I stand at the river's edge. This is certainly low time of the river. Snows haven't really melted. Not hugely. We're going to get much higher. The river still is 10, 20, maybe 30 yards across from here. So I spin around from here to the brush. It's another 20 yards. So let's say 50 yards. I don't quite know where the stones were thrown from, but I believe it was over there to across the river over here. About a 50-yard throw. I was able to get maybe 10 or 15 if I'm lucky. I'm not a strong man, but that's a heck of a throw. Well, welcome back as I look closer at these trees. As you can see, this one here is about 5/8 inch diameter. This was previously broken. It was not fresh break. So that is not fresh green. You can see the breaks are, that's a fairly old tear right here. Here we come up to a fresh or a new sprig coming off of it. It is now March 15th, 2020. Brand new growth. All of these, brand new growth. That's typical of this tree, of this branch. Even if I go out to the tip of this, you can see, oh, brand new buds. Just coming out. Just coming out. So yes, this branch has been broken off of the tree within the past 2 or 3 weeks. There were literally tens, if not hundreds, of these branches broken off of this tree within the past 2 weeks. Now investigating further, here's the break here. I'm going to try this. I'm going to break this myself and see how it breaks, if it breaks. Watch this. This is a fresh, brand new break. Did you hear that break? It snapped, but that's still green on the inside. That is not dry. Where the sap runs, the fresh stuff, that's green. This is a fresh break. That's just weathered. but the brakes are new. Well, thanks for going on that adventure with me. I hope you found it to be interesting. I sure did. My whole purpose here was to go and see if indeed this area could be an area where rocks were thrown from at some hunters. I found nothing to say it couldn't have been. I found a thicket had a bedding area in there with ingress and egress routes, heavily traveled. Any number of critters would want to hang out in there, especially in the summertime. In the summertime, it gets down to 100, 110 degrees down there. That thicket is going to be 20 degrees cooler. Anybody's going to want to hang out in there, whether you're a deer, elk, or Sasquatch. It's a great area. The tree branches, that was really interesting to me as well. Certainly no deer, elk, anything like, no ungulate took those tree branches out. They're way too high. Could it have been a raccoon? Possibly. The thickness of the branches makes me doubt that. Could it have been a bear? Yeah, quite possibly. The claw marks on the tree, the height, the acrobatics of bears, the destructiveness of bears. Absolutely could have been a bear up there. My big question is why? Why would a bear go up there? We just came out of hibernation. These branches are broken down in the past month or so, within the past month, probably in the past couple of 3 weeks. Something climbed up those trees, busted all those branches down for no good reason. Not for foraging, not for food. For fun, maybe. For boredom, maybe. But for no good reason that I could discern. That makes me question why a bear would do that, especially if he's out hungry trying to replenish his body mass. So I don't know. Somebody suggested to sit across the river with binoculars or a spotting scope and watch that thicket from a distance over time to see what critters go in there and if anything else climbs up in those trees and beats them up like that. I think that would be a great idea. I don't have binoculars or spotting scope that's worthy to do that. If you know anybody that has one and wants to donate it to the cause, send them my way because I need them. But yeah, I think it would be that would be a great experiment. So that's where that is. But again, could a Sasquatch have been in there? Absolutely. It's a great area. Anybody would want to hang out in there. I would. As for the first part of the story, that's very interesting. Through a set of circumstances that were all unknown figure, lost sight, weird sounds, the birds flying away, not seeing the figure in the distance, made me think that I bet you it's a Sasquatch. Then I see the fisherman and my narrative is blown out the window. But that just shows that my brain built a narrative that was false, which is the reason I'm doing this work, which is the reason Mateo is doing his work, trying to find the truth. And that's been the purpose here. And so finding experts to tell us things, that makes all the difference in the world. To find, whether it's from botany, animals, scat, anything like that, that's really important to do. And that's what we are doing, and to search out the truth. So thank you very much for joining us. Please enjoy the rest of the videos. We're more and more coming up. Follow us as we move forward and expose and reveal the truth about Sasquatch here in southern Colorado, which evidence is showing that there is something out here. There's a lot of testimonies out there. So thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you next time. Wash your hands and join us on the next video. Cheers.